So are you ready? Yes. Okay. Ready, steady? No. Okay, let's go. Yes. So I think I stand up. So I'm Eero Peltonen from Joensuu, Finland, Eastern Finland, originally from between South and Central Finland, about 300 kilometers north from Helsinki, direct up. But now I live about 100 kilometers from Russian border, which is very close to these villages where the photos are from and where the most important Runo songs are from. And so I'm a Runo singer and heritage educator. I've also studied lamentations and throat singing and incantations. And for me, Runo singing and incantations or spells and lamentation belong to the same thing. Even riddles, because the riddles are often based on older tradition and so on. Also work songs are very old, like lullabies and other work songs. So I will talk about also work songs a little bit. You say talka, I think you have talka. Yeah. We have also that kind of. And this is shows something. This is the most important poetry. Runo song village in Karelian side, where the border has been. So this is in Russian side. Has always been since the border has been there since like 1520 or 1530s, unchanged. And people moved back and forth between sort of Finnish area, the modern Finnish area, and the Russian Karelia. So relatives were on sort of both sides. I think about 1920 it happened, and then the border was more strict after that. And this is a sacrificial meal in this village. I've been here, I think, 3 times in this village myself. Of course, it looks now a bit different, less people, but you can still see how the whole village was gathering for a sacrificial meal. Children, young, everybody was there. And he's a very great photographer. He's our national photographer. He made this trip and documented a lot of the very important parts of history there. So that's it. And then maybe something about, okay, I will tell about the Runo song a bit more than the word. Here, so it used to be called rune song or rune singing, but it's a bit misleading because runes are more Scandinavic tradition. You know runes, they are these signs. And Runo song comes more from the Ural mountains. I've been also there, like Kama River and these areas. And Runoi in if you put A there, R-U-N-O-I, that means seer or like a shaman kind in Karelian language. So this modern word for poetry or poem is connected to this seeing and like shamanism directly. It's the same word basically. And there are some photos from 1917 when we got independence from Miinandomi. Also from this Vienna area. I will show a map later. And Larin Paraske, she's from Ingria, playing Kuakles there, Kantele. And she will probably be the first female saint in Finnish Orthodox Church. And she knew this much of music by heart, this kind of one thick book only. And knew Sibelius, and Sibelius got a lot of ideas to his music, I think, from Larin Paraske, many melodies to Sibelius' music. So, but she was Ishorian, Larin Paraske. And she knew more songs than anybody else. And also were in Finland many times. So something about my path to Runo song. About 30 years I knew almost nothing about Runo song, but then I went to a workshop in central Finland called The Forest and the Myths Live Inside Us. And we were supposed to write things down in some form, like in the text form, And then I noticed I was starting to write things in a Kaleva-like sort of meter, which means usually like seisoo kantona kaskessa, pää jo kauan katkaistuuna, juuret tervasta taotu, juuret tervasta taotu. Always 8 syllables. There can be 9 or 10, but if there's more there in the beginning, ja juuret, you put ja there or like and or something, and then it will be 9 or 10, but usually it's 8. So, and then I knew only one melody, this one I was just using, and I thought that's it, and we have nothing more. But then later, at 1994, I met Anneli Asplund, who was the leader of the folk music archives in Helsinki, and she told that there's about 300 recorded Runo songs, on records, on archives, and about 1,500 more in sheet music from Ingria, Karelia, and Finland. So then I was like totally shocked and mind blown, and I felt betrayed also because nobody had told. And that was the moment when I started to study like hell these traditions. Yeah. And then especially one song, because this, also Anneli Asplund writes about it, that this song sounds at the same time like Sami joiking and Runo song. It sounds like both at the same time, and I hope I can play it for you. That was a big revelation for me, and I wondered like why nobody had told me. Can you hear this? This is about the birth of Kuakles, and because Heinäveden was our main guy on earth, a bit like I think you have Dievs or Dievs similar, Dievs, and then hit something like a rock or something, and then noticed it was a big pike, and then from the head of the pike, the first Kuakles kantele was created, and this is the story about what happened. And this is so fascinating that I've been working on this for a long time, but I can't sing it yet properly. It takes a couple more years to learn it. So actually there's a music style called Vienna Joiks in this area, and when I was asking, I was in one of these villages there in Vienna, Karelia, and I asked what language do you speak, and they said that we speak the Lapland language. They said we speak the Lapponian language. So maybe it means something like that, that because there's a strong connection, especially with the Skolt Sami people, who are Orthodox Sami, indigenous Orthodox people, and then the Karelian tradition. So we are not sure how it is, but there seems to be a connection. Yeah. But anyway, this was a big thing, and now you can see actually the pike, the big pike. You can understand how the Kuakle was created, and this is the Kuakle from 1833. You can see it in the National Museum in Helsinki by Ondrej Malinen, who was famous player. And here is Anni, when it was recorded. She was a refugee from this village, Kuokkiniemi, that we saw, living in Kotka, in Finland, the refugee center, and recorded there in 1922. So she looked like that. Yep. So that's how it started for me. And then let's talk a little bit about spells, because the oldest form of runosong, I would say, is maybe spells, because they come maybe from, could have been used with the hunter-gatherers already, some kind of spell, especially for hunting, and especially hunting bear. So I think those are the very oldest ones, the bear hunting ritual songs that are still used with Opugrians, like Hunties and Mansis. They still know them quite well and use them also. And we had the same, basically. And also I think the birth of fire, everything connected to fishing. The oldest word in Finnish is kala. It's 6,000 years old, a fish, kala. All the Finno-Ugric know the sentence that fishes are living under the water. Kalat elävät veden alla. That's the sentence. All the Finno-Ugrians understand it. So the fish, the water, and alla. I think alla is here. Is it the well?
The cave.
The cave, yeah. We're gonna be in Alla soon. I've been there a couple of times. Latvia. It's interesting because we have the dievs and then we have akka. We have ukko and akka. Yeah, so the Mother Earth is, the old word is akka in Finnish. It's the well, I think, there. Yeah. This is the oldest known written incantation text in Baltic Finnic language. It could be Karelian language, but it's not sure. It's found 1952 from Novgorod, written on a birch bark in mid-13th century. So extremely old, and it says Jumala nuoli nimisi, noli senaha nolio mobo, Jumala soudin jovi, something like that. Bit complex. But nuoli means an arrow, and Jumo is connected to Jumis, of course. Jumi was the one who was sending witch arrows or God's arrows or lightning. So it's probably connected to the Yumi you have, to the Yumis you have, and also that we have also. Also in our bells, we have old bells. You have many more. And also in Lithuania, like in Nida, I've been 2 times on the Kuurinkynnäs, near Kaliningrad anyway, on this. They have this on the houses, these horses, 2 horses together. So, and I even think that Jumis is the origin of the word God in Finnish language, because we say Jumala, and then my theory is that when you're Jumissa, when we say we are Jumissa, in Jumi it means that you're stuck in Finnish. So, and when you're there, then there's nothing you can do on your own without some help when you're really stuck. So I think that, and then you need somebody that can release this stuckness of 2 polarized energies, and then they can both live. Yeah. Yep. Oh, here is from my bookshelf. This is said to be the biggest songbook in the world. 34 books. One of them is from Larin Varaske that we saw from in Historian, maybe this one from Larin Varaske. There's about these 1,800 melodies you can use to sing them through these 34 books. So it takes us ages and ages. And now we have in YouTube, we have videos where 2 young guys are playing them with kuakles. Actually, they are not playing all these, but they are playing Kalevala through. in YouTube. Yeah, chapter after chapter they play with kuokles and sing. And here you see my Kalevala collection. This is the etymological collections, and this is oral poetry. It's about English from Kalevala, and this is all about Kalevala that I have, you know. Kalevala is crucial also, even though it's made up, not really a made up story, but it's taken from these. And Lönnrot, who created Kalevala, said that from these he could have created 5 Kalevalas. So it shows how immense this material was. And the tradition is about at least 2,000 years old, would be actually much older. The linguistics have come to this conclusion, it has to be at least 2,000 years. And everybody knew this kind of singing of epic and lyrical poetry and charms. So it was part of, and Lönnrot called it was another mother tongue but more sacred, this one that people were using. And it's an oral tradition of Finns, Karelians, Estonians call it Regilaul, and Setos in Estonia and Russia, and they call it Lelo, and Izhorians, Votians, and Ingrian Finns also. And some runo songs are from Lydians, but none from Repsians or Livonians. Maybe it would be great, maybe Julkistalta would know if there's there could be something similar, but runo song is sung in Kalevala meter, as I told, like often call response, Vaka vanha Väinämöinen, Vaka vanha Väinämöinen, call response, and also, as you can see, alliteration, one Väin. That's very, very common. It's also a way to remember old mythological stories and pass them on to the next generation. That's been crucial. Usually 8 syllables. Nukun, nukun, nurmilintu, väsy, väsy, västärähti, viepä pellolle pesäsi, kalliolle kartanosi, kalliolle kartanosi. And yeah, here still, these are the years. The first one is from 1911, 1908, and it's from this Vienna area, the most important area. And then from all over Izhoria or Ingria and Karelia and Finland, the rest. Yeah. Here you can see my kuokles. I don't know how old it is, but it's quite old. If there are any questions, you're okay to ask also, anytime basically. But also at the end we can have time. Okay, here this is very important also for me because I found this map only maybe 2 years ago. And here you can see the Finnic Baltic languages. Here, of course, Finnish, and then the whole Karelian area. And of course, there's Livonians also, and here you can see where they are taken. This was interesting because the Tver Karelians had to move. They escaped the Lutheran church, or and then they moved here hundreds of years ago. And the language has been staying there quite alive. The Karelian language there, yeah. But here you can see the more red, the more poetry. So here you can see this, more or less here is the Vienna Karelia area here, and then the other Karelian areas. And here not so many, but in Estonia, yes, especially is this I think Võru. Võru has about as much as the Vienna Karelia. Yeah. The main difference in Finland is that the Vienna songs poetry were longer. So they had very, very long mythological stories. It would take like 15 minutes to 20 minutes to sing. Okay, Kalevala. There's two translations. I just checked to Latvian. I think the first is from around 1920, and then the later is 1962. And the later one should be very well done with this 8-syllable Kalevala meter. So I recommend if you're interested. And also in Finnish we get now a new translation from Kaarina Brooks, 2021. I haven't read it yet, but it should be very good. So nowadays Kalevala is regarded the national epic of not only Finns but also Karelians and Ingrians, because so much poetry from them is there. And maybe many of you know that Finland was originally part of the Swedish Empire, and in 1809 we became part of Russia, autonomous Grand Duchy of Russia, and 1917 we became independent. And this old Kalevala 1835 was based on these collections that I just showed you, and edited by Elias Lönnrot, who was a medical doctor and a herbalist and also linguist and musician. He did everything, and inspired artists and shaped the national identity of Finland. Actually, these runes or runos gave the basis for our independence. Yeah, it was so crucial at the time. And translations to about 60 languages, yes. Okay, do you remember this? We were singing this. But here I've translated the Hush Hush You Cigarette Roll. How did you know how to get here? I came along the Turku Road, the Ox Road of Häme people. How did you recognize our gate? I saw your new gate, the hook below, the wheel above, the bearskin above the gate. So this is how a cigarette roll looked like, more or less, at the time. We can sing, let's sing it twice. Tupakki rulla, mistäs tiesit tänne tulla? Tulin pitkin Turun tietä, hämäläisten härkätietä. Mistäs tunsit meidän portin, näin teidän uuden portin. Hakalla pyöräpäällä, karhun talja portin päällä. Tupakki rulla, mistäs tiesit tänne tulla? Tulin pitkin Turun tietä, hämäläisten härkätietä. Mistäs tunsit meidän portin, näin teidän uuden portin. Haka alla pyöräpäällä, karhun talja portin päällä. So this is the oldest, maybe, I'm not sure if it's the oldest, but it's still used every day in Finland and Karelia by especially mothers who sing to their children as a lullaby. It's a very mythical story. I will, in the next, here you can see the bear skin and the sun, and how the child knows, recognizes the symbols or signs where she or he wants to live. And here are some other versions there. Here there's this cartwheel. You have them also often. Ratas, I think, ratas. Yeah, and symbol of the sun, Saule, and bearskin, as I told, and Tervar is the tar cross. The closest I've seen is in open air museum in Helsinki, but also in Riga open air museum we have a protective tar signs. So it reminded me of them in Riga. But this might be tar. I think in Riga they're also using blood in these crosses, what I've heard. I'm not sure, but maybe. And then there was this, in many versions also, the iron ring, which is connected to maybe Turku, Åbo, and the seaside, and putting the boats there, and when landing or leaving. And then was it not Akka? Akka here. That was crucial. In many other songs this is mentioned, that it was in the center of the yard. And then the buckets, often the buckets were golden, or the cups, to symbolize like the spiritual element of it, like extraordinary and extraordinary power that they had. Often gold, silver, and bronze were mentioned, in this mythical poetry. Here I tried to make it to something visual. This song called, yesterday I sang this also, The Golden Wheel Oak, where each sentence creates abundance, spins like Sampo. Sampo is the magical mill in Finland, which is a bit like grinding abundance, like a magical mill. And it's just very center in the Kalevala, this story of Sampo. And people were manifesting things by singing, and gold, silver, and bronze represents spiritual, otherworldly essence, as I told. And here they're singing, manifesting the rowan tree, manifesting the apple tree with apples, and on each apple there is a golden wheel, and on each wheel there is a cuckoo, and then when the cuckoo is singing, then there is gold coming to this kind of cup, a bucket, and this kind of vakka, we say vakka. How do you say this? What do you call this? We say vakka. It's some sort of old stuff.
How big is it?
Oh, it can be smaller, bigger, but they also put babies in them. They used it as a cradle. I show later.
Is it from wood?
Yep, often, yeah. Yeah, it's from wood. And they all threw seeds from it. Put it here.
Then it's a different thing.
It's a bit different thing, but
Then we call it a different name.
but in Finland it used to be one name for many things, where you carry things and even babies. So. Okay, this is I sing la la, I spin gold, I sing the rowan tree to the yard, to the oak tree to the middle, I sing an apple to every branch, a golden wheel to each apple, a cuckoo to the golden wheel. When the cuckoo sings, honey flows from the mouth, bronze drips from the peak, to the golden cup, to the bronze bushel. So I've translated bushel. So, vakka. Okay. Lallan laulan kultaa kehrään, lallan laulan kultaa kehrään, laulan pihlaajan pihalle, laulan pihlaajan pihalle, tammen keskitän hualle, joka oksalle omenan, omenalle kultapyörän, kultapyörälle käkösen. Kultapyörälle käkösen, käkönen kukahtelevi, kultasuusta kumpuavi, vaskileuvolta valuvi, kultaseen kupposeen, vaskiseen vakkaseen. And so on. Then I usually make people dance to it a bit or go around in the room, or circle, and then sing it a bit faster, and then it's like spinning. It becomes like this sampo, the magical meal that creates movement and energy and richness and so on in life. How are we time-wise? 20 minutes. 25 is good. Yeah, better. Okay. Maybe 30. Okay, 25 is maybe okay. Great. Then incantations of origin, they are probably the oldest layer of incantation, and for some reason it is focused more on Karelia and Finland. In Estonia they don't have, I talked with Mare Koiva, and she said, we don't really have like birth incantations, birth spells, about things like the fire and the snake and iron and so on. But we have more than 100 of these origins. And they are very crucial, especially in like healing traditions, to know the origin and the family of like the snake. So you could, at the old times, as you know, it was community and the family was the heart of everything. And if you knew the family like of the snake, then you could like say that we know your mother, we know your father, we know your sisters, we know your brother. They were using that when they were doing the incantations. So many of the incantations talked about directly to the family of the origin. The roots lie definitely, as I said, in the pagan area, probably at Stone Age. Yeah. And it means the knowledge of the origins and mythical beginnings of things and phenomena. And then it was crucial to name them and know their birth and family, as I told, in order to influence them. So naming is almost like diagnosis. It was crucial to name them and to make a diagnosis that the person who was ill had something to hold on very quickly, instead of just like being ill. That wasn't. And then the idea was that people were naturally healthy, and then something like a spirit from outside, from nature, from the elements, fire, earth, and so on, shook the person from the balance, and then it was crucial to get the person back to balance and to the position of health. So that was the system, why they were working so quickly and effectively, and they really had to find the root cause and when it happened, and then they often went to the place where something had happened, and they found it and gave some sort of sacrifice or made a ritual to please the spirits and say, we are sorry, and so on. So some of the origins are the world, the kantele, the bear, the snake, fire, iron. And in runo songs there's also often used, like in Kalevala there's, I think it's like 5 pages, incantations when Väinämöinen goes to the stomach of a dead shaman and asks for words to build a spirit boat, laiva. And there's a very long incantation part in Kalevala. Okay, here is, and this is Matrona Kyyrönen, 1914, for Impilahti, also Karelia. And she was, I saw, I think this is from video, and she was like, seiso veri niin kuin asu urmen niin kuin aita, niin kuin miekka meressä, seiso vesikoskessa kovassa. And then she goes like that. Physically, you can see like, like stand blood like a sword in rapid water, and stand like a fence, and then she made it like the fence, literally. So it was quite dramatic. They were powerful people. And I forgot to mention that this, did I mention that the runo, it means poetry, in runoi, I mentioned, it means a shaman or a seer, so this connection there. Oh, bless you! Often when somebody was ill, they thought that the person had been shocked at the time of birth, and there were also incantations to heal that, a person like that. The birth of iron. The wolf ran across the marshes. So if you cut yourself with an axe, this is often used as an example. If you hit yourself with a knife or axe, then you needed to somehow recall the birth of iron, aloud or in your mind, to be able to connect to the origins of the harm, troublemaker, and then you needed to know to stop the bleeding, and it was done very quickly, without singing usually. It had to be very like that. The wolf ran across the marshes, the bear roamed the heath, the marsh rose beneath the wolf's feet, the heath beneath the bear's paws. Iron shoots grew in the wolf's great tracks. So that's how they found the iron in one of the mythological stories. And then blood stand like a wall, blood stay like a fence, stand as a sword stands in the sea, as a stone stands in the strong rapids. Bring a plug from behind the house, a bar from beneath the sauna wall, to block the fierce opening, to close the nasty gate. Veri seison niin kuin seinä, asu hurme niin kuin aita, niin kuin miekka veressä seiso kivikoskessa kovassa, tuo tulppa tuon takoa, salpa saunan seinän alta tukeeksi, tuiman reijän paikaksi peräjän, and then they do this. So they speed it up, and with one breath. And if they repeat it, they do it 3 times always. Yeah, it's 3 times was crucial. Okay, sauna healing. This is, I think from 1877 from Uhtua. Oh, is it Uhtua? Maybe. Yeah, Uhtua is nowadays called Kalevala in Karelia, Kalevala village. I've been also there a couple of times. And this is from Arhipaini Mihkali, who was one of the greatest runa singers. And in this incantation, the birth of Löyly. Löyly means the sauna spirit, pirts spirit. And it's the original word in Finnish for the spirit. It meant the spirit, the sauna steam, the same word. And so this incantation starts with preparing tools and materials like vasta. You call it whisk. What do you call it? Whisk, sauna. Yeah. So you had everything ready, and also like dry wood, healthy wood, and then the warmth, of course. They are all ready. And then calling the Löyly spirit and rising forces. We call them with 2 words. Luonto means nature, raising your nature, and raising your väki is connected also to the dead. And it's like raising natural forces and forces from the dead at the same time. And in saying that it is a favorable time for healing. So it is, often they say that there is a time for the outerworldly or extra who has entered the body to go out. That's what it means, literally. And diagnosis, where has the magic happened and the spirit entered the body. So that was part of it. And then asking the spirit or illness to leave the body and return to its place of origin. And the melody goes, Los löyly lähetäs lämmin läpi kumien kivien, läpi kumien kivien palavien paterojen. Ettei polta poikiasi, turmeile tekemiäsi. Nyt on liian liike aika, pois pahan pakelu aika. Nyt on liian liike aika, pois pahan pakelu aika. So that was the melody he was using. There was 5 melodies were recorded from him or written down, and this was one of them. So and also he was using these words. So basically this was the healing ritual also, and this was through one song, but then often they went together with the healer to nature, to the place of origin that they found where the magic had happened, the harm or the spirit had entered the body. It was always thought that it was something from the spirit world, often from fire, earth, water, and air, where the spirit had touched your body. And this is what I meant by vakka. So they used to, in Karelia especially, I think also in the Finnish side, they used to put babies there first, because they were not sure if the baby would survive. So it was placed near the ground inside the house for the first 40 days, and then they were singing these maybe death lullabies and negotiating with death. If the baby is our own or it's owned by the death still. So it was this kind of very fragile time, and it was called vakahainen. The baby was called according to this vakka. It was called like a vakahainen, and they were trying to measure the outer worldly part away in this. They were using this kind of measuring healing technique to measure the extra out. And then after 40 days, especially in the Orthodox tradition, they lifted the baby up to the cradle in the center of the house and up there to the cradle. It goes, the sleep asks from outside, calls from beneath the window, is there a child in the cradle, a tiny one inside the covers? Come sleep from outside to the cradle of the weepy child. Let sleep dreams of the earth, of the trees, the sleep of the Holy Mother of God. So you can see very pagan things in the same sentence and also Christian. And these people, they didn't see any difference there. I think they thought the more spirits and saints, the better at the time. Yeah. So they were using Mary to help with the healing, for example, a lot. Yeah. So and the dream, uni, it was like a character in itself, like a spirit, yeah, like a being. I love this. Let's sleep dreams of the earth, of the trees. I think it's wonderfully said. And then there's this Orthodox element in there. Oh, guess who? This is my dearest grandfather, my dear mother, my dear father. And I grew as part of this thing, and with Sirpi, and I just saw the oldest graves in Finland. Actually, the grave where our first ancient costume has been made of. I saw the grave, and often they had this in the graves, both men and women. They had Sirpi. That was very common, and often the dog. The dog was sometimes at the head of the owner or somewhere out at the bottom. The dog was often in the graves. That was a surprise, but in many caves. So that was also highly ritualistic, like at the Velolaik's time, Kekri. Then who made the last one was something, it was like had good luck or something. It was crucial. Who made this last of this? Lyhde, we say Lyhde. So there was a lot of ritualistic elements connected to this work. Okay, and then the grinding songs. We have a great grinding song tradition in Finland. It was women's work, also maybe partly children. It was very hard work, and they created immensely beautiful melodies because it was very hard work just to entertain and feel good about themselves and the work. Like go mountain into rolling, rock into rambling. Why do you stone creek? Why do you mountain lament in the hands of the vigorous grinder? So they were singing this kind of songs, but probably very long. It was a bit like hushing a baby, entertaining and making time pass because it was hard work and it was done almost the whole year through with these grinding stones. I can't remember, this is very amazing, this figure. It's somewhere from Karelia also, but I haven't written it down. I have to check. A beautiful figure. Okay. Incantations and mythic songs. Yeah, often they were connected because people started to need a lot of spells. Incantations because of the slash and burn. They cut down the forest and then they let it stay for a year or so and then they burned it and then they could get great soil for the grain to grow. And actually it's thought that maybe they did it in the first place to get animals like deer for hunting to these areas, and then later they started to have oak and rye especially there, and then some other kind of nauris, I think it's like turnip or something, this kind of vegetable, and flax, linen also, it's very old. So there were, I think many of the stories are from these Iron Age villages, this poetry, and also there's these myths about the formation of seabed, and in the birth of fire there's many fishes mentioned, so it's possible that especially the fishermen were singing these songs while they were rowing, and maybe also that the rowing rhythm is being, like I was singing yesterday, mitkäs nuo merellä uivat, hoi 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 hoi, allit nuo merellä uivat, hoi 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 hoi, mikä allin siiven alla, hoi 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 hoi, Veno allin siiven alla, hoi hoi. So they saw these allic birds, the long-tailed ducks, and then under the wings there is a boat, and in the boat there's a cradle, and in the cradle there's a boy and scratching the sky, and then under the sky there's a girl who is creating the web of life in this song. So, and women sang lyrical songs about homestead, about their joys and sorrows, and the heaviness of these hand mills, and also about hopes of marriage. And in death rituals and weddings, women lamented also. Very strong tradition, but it is a Karelian tradition, not really a Finnish tradition, the lamentation. Or maybe it was, but there's no documentation. Okay, here is Sanni. I never met Sanni, but I know Sanni's friends. In Ilomantsi, she lived about at the, let's say, at the Russian border, at the very easternmost corner of Finland. And she used this Värttinä. What is Värttinä in Latvian? Same. Yeah, Vart. Värttinä. Varpstinja. We say Värttinä. So she was always using it when she was doing these runo songs. Always. And this is from, there's this film, I don't have time to show it, but you can check it. It's called Living Tradition in Yle Areena. It's the Finnish broadcasting TV. It's a great film. She sings many songs, there are also lamentations. And she was born, in Finnish side, about 100 kilometers from where I live. And I've been to I was teaching also runo song in the nearby this village. And this is, I managed to get with a great amazing luck her käspaikka. This is the holy towel that they used, in Karelian tradition they used to have the washing place when you entered the house on the right side, just by the door. It was so crucial that these towels became holy, and then they were used, I think women used them on their waist when they got married, and also sometimes they were put on the grave, and 40 days after the woman was died, to the window, the home window, that she was able to find a way back home, and this was put to the window. So it became, and nowadays they put them also there's the icons, the icon corner, which is just when you enter the house, it's usually on the left corner of the house, and she had it there with an icon next to it. So we call it käsipaikka, we call it the hand place in Finnish. And they always, there's this kukkilintu, these two birds, they are bringing luck, they are very connected to the cuckoo maybe. It's a sound almost the same, and the cuckoo is very crucial in the Karelian tradition. And here it used to be the tree of life, and then at some point it was also mother goddess, and then later it became Mary, but the figures stayed the same basically. They're so old, they come from the extremely old, these figures. You can come and see if you like later. Yep. Sunny. I have, how much time we have? We have 3 more slides.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you will demonstrate that there is a tower more in the table because I really want to hear the drums.
What did he say? Oh, these other things?
Yes.
Okay, I will demonstrate. This is, it's very difficult in Finland to publish archive recordings because you have to ask everybody who is alive from the family a permission. And it's become very complex. Like Pekko Käppi, who's very famous, jouhiko player. What is jouhiko? I don't know. Jouhiko player that he made a double album, but he could never publish it of the archives. I think because of these reasons. But this is extremely good. It has runolaulu or runonlaulu from Finland, Karelia and Ingria. And it's, the oldest ones are, I think, maybe 1908 already, the birth of fire, and then till 1930 maybe. Very old, they're all very, very old. And so I highly recommend you get it quite easily. The whole thing is in YouTube. You know, like one by one, the songs are there. You can find. Also the kantele is there that I was playing you. This is in here. Then I would like to play this. I don't know, is there an internet? Could I play this? I can't. Okay, maybe I'll find it here. Okay. This is, I love this band, it's called Pauanne. It is with Fedosya Petrova. Do you have any groups where you're using the archive material with new music? You have? Yeah, so this is a band like that. And let's see if I find it. It's called Karjala. This is very old. I was using this in the workshop, some of you were there. Oli kerran onnimannista matikasta, maitopöydästä, pöpöröstä, pieni rikistä, rimannosta, ristisolista, sopukosta, sormikinnasta, kiipolusta, kirjakannasta, kirkassa nuoret miehet, naimattomat vielä, viinan juomottavat, punavat, rautaköyttä, raanikoivat, jotta merityyneen pysyy kannanlapsi kaureena. Often they had to use only one breath to do the whole. It was also training for I think artistry, but also it was crucial to in order to collect the power inside your body and rise your luonto, like rise your nature, and to stand up to difficulties and so and the hard times. Maybe there's one more. So. Oh! Do you know, do you recognize the tree? Well, I can hear it's Liepa. But do you recognize the village? It's Ruchava. So I was just telling some of you that because I created a 10-month training in Finnish folklore 2010, and I had like I think 18 students, about 50 teachers, many teachers, and I got the idea. I was asking my friends, actually it was I think Vita Bogana and with some others, and then I asked like, how can I put together the traditions and the arts and psychology? And then instead of answering, they said to me that you have to go under these two trees. I think it was a linden tree and an oak tree, and ask that question. And then I did, and then I understood that here it is natural; they are not separated. And then that was the foundation for this 10-month training that I got there in Ruchava. So I'm forever grateful. I've been to Ruchava at least 3 times. And I heard the music. I was in Riga. I went to this little library and I asked these LPs, can I listen to this old record? And they played. And then I asked Vita, I said to Vita, what is this? What is this? This sounds Karelian. This sounds Finnish. What is this? And it was from Ruchava. And that's how I went to Ruchava. I said, I want to go there. And that's why I'm here, probably. And then there's this woman who sings in this Kalevala heritage. She sings Nuku nuku, nurmilintu, väsy väsy, västäräki, tiepä pellolle pesäsi, kalliolle kartanosi, koivun oksalle kotisi, kuusen kannoille kujasi, hangelle haavumajasi. And then at the end she said that äänen pitää tulla maan alta. The voice has to come from under the ground. And then I realized what also these old women were doing, where did their power come from? It comes from the soil, from the earth where they had lived, and the generations before have lived. So it was a very, very crucial. Yeah. So Ballies! Oh. Eli asked me to,
Yes,
because I'm using the drum, but usually only in the birth of fire. But there's no evidence. There's no evidence that we had lamentations in Finnish side, and neither drums. But in Karelian area, which is partly in Finland, southern and northern Karelia, then there's a word called kannustaa. This is kannustaa. It means to support. Kannus is a drum in Karelian and is connected to support. Kannusta. It also may be connected to kantaa, to carry, but it's not sure. But I think the drum is especially connected to support. And then I sing Eski tulta ilmaanukko, valahutti valkeaista. Kolmella konsulalla, kirjavalla käärmeellä. Läpi taiveen 9, läpi maan, läpi manalan, läpi kuuden kirjokannen. Vaka vanha Väinämöinen veteli verkkojansa, veteli vastaan virtaan, veteli myötä virtaan. Ei saanut sitä kaloa, no sai kuitenkin yhden lohen punaisen. Hakasi lohen punaisen, saatihin harmaja hauki. Hakasi harmaajan hauen, saatiin siliä siika. Hakasi siliän siia, hakasi siliän siia. Saatiin muuna punainen, hakasi muunan punaisen. Saatiin sinikeräinen, hakasi sinikeräisen. Saatiin punakeräisen, kirkosi tuli kipinä, kirkosi tuli kipinä, kirkosi tuli kipinä. Kirposi tuli kipinä läpi taivojen 9, läpi maan, läpi manalan, läpi kuuden kirjokannen. Siellä tuli kipinä. It was the spark. this was the spark that they found inside the fishes, because the spark came from the heavens, and then many fishes were eating it, swallowed each other, and then inside the third one, smallest one, there was the spark, and then came out in the mythic singing. So the melody is made by my friend, and I've been using it a lot, and it's become somehow my own also. Anything else? A rattle is made from the dogs eat this kind of stuff. Some sort of leather. And then I'm using it sometimes also. And then there is a traditional we call it tuohitori, birch-bark flute.
That's my favorite instrument so far ever.
Sorry?
That's my favorite instrument so far now.
Oh, really? You can try it.
I would love to later.
Okay. Yes, of course. Okay. I don't know if there's time for questions, but I'm happy also to the next one.
3 questions, or maybe in the past. Maybe
Yeah, you can also ask me directly. Yeah. I'm available.
So
I'm also in Facebook.
yes, thank you, Eero.
And then my connecting things, connecting people like Nokia at the old time.
Paldies, Eero, prasēju viņam
You're welcome.
jautājumus pie kafijas. Tagad mums būs 10